Make me laugh every time. Hold on. I'm ready to go to sleep. All right. Oh, maybe two. Because I didn't get all right. I didn't take you outside. I'm not walking out. I had about half sleep. All right, now you got a tumble to hold in. Right there. Yeah, you got a hold in. Good boy. I gotta sweep this thing again, bro. Kill Boy, you got like you got some fried fish, some fried cabbage, and some corn. I want a cornbread. What? Doing too much. Good. Get it, go. Yeah, Rondo went over there and looked. It was there, bro. That was the last one. Unless you're talking about a different one, brother. Hey, Herbo. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, what's happening, Blovers? How y'all doing, man? My apologies. I was about to fall asleep, man. I was like, I should have been on before. I was like, God damn it. I was just reading it. I had some other music playing. And real low. And it looked like it want to rain outside, because y'all know the time is changing. It's getting dark early and it's doing its thing, but it's still triple digits. So I thought I heard thunder. The skies don't look they look weird. Well, if it rains, I hope it rains. That'd be good. Let it rain. Bring it the fuck on. I'm with it. Bring it the heck on. Okay, let's get this rain on. I was gonna read that, but I'm reading more. I'm finding some more stuff in that book. It's a little contradictory, a little contradiction in there. It's still a good read. It's just, I don't know. It seems like they want to make a movie if they haven't already. And it's too, like the screenwriter I've been working on for a while. It's kind of like that, but it's written as not as take one, scene take two. It's written like a story. What it's like when they want you to envision something that is far from the truth, and I can't do it. I mean, I'm reading it, and there's good stuff in there, but then when you think about the original story, it's like all these individuals, all they know how to do is lie. They need everybody to stay in the dark, because if you start remembering, man, I'm telling you, it might be too late. When we all kick this off, we have a whole bunch of people that don't know nothing that was always in denial. Like, you can't make that up. Okay. Excuse me. We're going to kick it off with George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Excuse me. I had some pasta, some spinach. Whew, gave me a little energy, and I was like, I'm not going to read. I'm a little stuffed, but you know how it is. All right, we're just going to get an El Dorado classic. Excuse the yawning. Like I said, I almost fell asleep. Like, for real. Like, for real. You know, like if I don't do the I'm gonna give you another little tea. If I don't do like the magnesium bath, I have this mist that I spray on me that has like lavender, magnesium. Oh, here's one right here. I just had to pull it out because the other one's almost. It's called magnesium mist. My Come Alive Herbals. So I just pulled this one out because I'm almost done with the other one. But it's pretty good. It's aromatic. It's very calming. You know, you absorb stuff in your pores. Remember I told you about, you know, the water test. If you want to get one of those acidity chest strips, you do the test, drop the stuff, you see, you know what I'm saying? Well, take your fingers and put your fingers in there and you'll clear the water because all the toxins will suck up into your finger. So when you take a bath, get you water purifier for your shower. If you can't afford the $5,000 to $10,000 one for the whole house, get you one that's beaded with the activated charcoal pellets and all that stuff. So at least you can get some of that from absorbing into your skin because it happens all the time. Especially you individuals that like to go to the sink and make your tea and your coffee. Because some of you know you do that, you know what I'm saying? And cook. A lot of y'all cook thinking that the only way you can purify water, and that's not of every contaminate, is run it from one to another. And that's the drip off. That's the purified water. It has no minerals or nothing in it. But the water in the bottom of the beaker or the pot, however you figure out how to do it, right? There's going to be sediment, fluoride, aluminium, or aluminum, y'all call it, aluminium, I call it, different metals and stuff like that, and other chemicals. There's tons of chemicals in the water besides fecal matter and urine. All right? So let's go ahead and get this read on. Turn this down a little bit. That is so soothing, man. If I put that on, and you ever watch a movie and you have music in the background playing, but the movie's turned down, but you know what's happening in the movie, but you're just letting it play because it was entertaining? Yeah, I do that sometimes. Like, I'll put on this kind of music, and I have it on my other little radio thing, and I'll have like Little Rascals, the whole thing playing, right? Don't have to hear nothing. Just every once in a while, look up, get a little giggle because I know what's happening. I watch them all. The music's in the background. It breaks up things. You dig what I'm saying? All right. Let's go. When we last left off, we were dealing with the Christian era as far as the celebrated expeditions. As far as the history of it was a Tyrus or Tyrian, Tyrus or something like that. So we're just going to go ahead and pick it up from that area. So let me make sure I'm in no, it wasn't the Peru or the Tenerife. It wasn't none of the scrub. I didn't mark it, y'all. Okay, I think this is where it's at. Okay. I know it's there because I got a little fold on the paper. So after the direful event which drove the Tyrians forever from the Mediterranean, in parentheses it says, which will be allocated hereafter. And we believe that their first resting place was among the Canary Islands. And as the peak of Tenerife arose as a welcome beacon, now you see why I said what I said in the last read, right? Canary Islands, right? That island became to them the chief place of temporary residence after their fortunate escape. Okay. Now, I mean, if you want to go all the way back to Nubia, you want to go back to the 606 years before Christ, you want to go back to that period of time, then you bring into question everything because 600 years before Christ, there was no Christ talked about before that, and there was no, and what was before that is even a made-up history. Okay. It appears almost evident that the group was then named by the Tyrians. For as the Fortunate Isles, they are known in ancient geography. Now the name seems to allude to some foregone conclusion, a peculiarly happy circumstance, for example, escape from foe or wreck. I don't know what that means. Oh, from an individual or a wreck, depending on what you need to escape from. Being connected with the naming. that the Aborigines of these islands and those of ancient America were the same will be admitted from the mummies discovered in the two countries. Listen, listen, that the Aborigines of these islands and those of ancient America were the same, which will be admitted from the mummies discovered in the two countries. Okay, whoa. They are identical with each other, and they are not Egyptian, for they lack the stone sarcophagi, the hieroglyphics, and the mummy cloths. Now the mummies of Peru and Tenerife abound in skins of animals, in parentheses, is a custom nowhere else found, although it is recorded of the Scythians. And those of the former in the skin of the llama, those of the latter in the goat skin, an animal with which the island abounded, and with the skins of which the original inhabitants clothed themselves. Now the mummies of both countries are also bound within the skins by leather thongs and straps made from the hides of the respective animals. Such facts cannot be accidental, they must be identical. Now the manner described above may have been the custom throughout all Mexican America, that they are only discovered at Arica, A-R-I-C-A, which word America comes from, okay, in Peru, and may arise from natural causes. We can visit, no, we're not going to go there, but at Arica, the rain never falls, as in Egypt, and the soil is calcareous, and the dryness of the atmosphere with the saline qualities of the earth produce natural embalming, thus preserving the body for ages from decomposition. The saline qualities of the earth, thus preserving the body for ages from decomposition, while in other portions of the continent, from the moisture and the absence of the preserving qualities, the bodies would gradually decay and return and mingle with the undistinguishable dust of centuries. Many analogies are found to the Tyrians. And in the details and decorations of the Peruvian mummies, both of the rich and the poor, those of the poor are invariably found resting upon beds. The poor, supposedly the poor, beds of broken fish shells. These beds are supposed to be placed there for religious motives, and may not the purple maru, the die shellfish, of Tyrus, as on the altar of Copan, be here alluded to by this religious custom. They always got to call everything religious. Anyway, in the same mummy pits, and they extend over a mile. Remove religion from the dichotomy, just because I'm reading it. Remove it. Okay, that's their shit. Anyway, the mummy pits, which they extend over a mile, are found various models of boats, lines, and fish hooks. These are buried with the mummies. That means they have all this. Are you getting a clear picture now? And I'm not talking about South America. I'm talking about, and they are evident witnesses of the occupation or the religious motives of the departed. Is not Titus her also? Her fisheries were her national emblems, and that this custom whereby the means of sustenance were obtained, fish. We practiced in South America by the Aborigines, all right? Well, was practiced in South America by the Aborigines, is distinctly stated by Dr. Robertson upon the authority of Beata. Now, the statement also shows that the distinction between those of the north and south of Mexican America is apparent. Those of the former depended upon hunting for their sustenance, and those of the latter are the Tyrian descendants, as did their ancestors upon their fisheries. Robertson says, in this part of the globe, South America supposedly, hunting seems not to have been the first employment of men, or the first effort of their invention and labor to obtain food. They were fishers before they became hunters. That says in Volume 5, Book 4, page 318. Okay, and that's way up there. Now, the boat model is directly emblematical of a religious custom of Tyrus, copied from the Egyptian, and the belief that the soul had to pass through various stages and translations before it reached its final destination or happiness. To accomplish this, the body was to pass over a river, and in a sacred barge or boat. Doesn't that sound Viking, Mike? And the helmsman was called by the Egyptian in their own language, Charon. And the classic reader will instantly trace the mythological fable of Greece concerning the ferryman of the river Styx. Probably introduced into Grecian Thebes by the Tyrian Cadmus. Now, when we talk about the river Styx, anybody think about the Mississippi? I'm just asking. I want to see if anybody thought about that. I'm gonna mark this one, y'all. I had to remember what the hell I was at. I knew what page I was on, but it was didn't mark it the way I was supposed to. Where y'all going? We're going fishing down by the river Styx. It's pretty interesting stuff, man, when you really look at it. It's like we need to be out there doing the reading and the writing. You know what I mean? Doing the writing and reading, deciphering and stuff like that. It should be us. But, things happen, man. The Gods of Eden by William Bramley. I gotta get the right page. Kind of sucks, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. This one's marked. Thank goodness, because I was about to go. I crazy. Anyway, it may be difficult to accept Mesopotamia and biblical statements that ancient human society had been split apart thousands of years ago in a divide and conquer effort by flying extraterrestrials, even though the divide and conquer technique is frequently used by military and political leaders on Earth during wartime. Now, interestingly, using the technique was advocated a number of years ago by a distinguished Yale professor of Earth. If Earth should ever colonize other planets. Now, the good professor suggested that Earth could control another inhabited planet by pitting one native group against another. If we compare ancient and modern ideas about how mankind came into existence, we find two very different versions. The ancient version is that an extraterrestrial society had come to possess Earth and sought to exploit the planet's resources. To make the exploitation easier, a work race was created, Homo sapiens. Humans were treated as livestock and were frequently butchered when they became too numerous or troublesome. Now, to preserve Homo sapiens as a slave race and to prevent future rebellion, spiritual knowledge was repressed, and human beings were scattered geographically into different linguistic groups, and conditions were created to make physical survival on Earth an all-consuming chore from birth until death. This arrangement was to be maintained indefinitely for as long as the custodial society possessed Earth. In contrast, the modern view is that human beings had evolved accidentally from star stuff into slime, into fish, into monkeys, and finally into people. The modern view actually seems more fancified, than the ancient one. And in the story of Adam and Eve, we noted the appearance of a snake. The serpent was said to be God's enemy, Satan, who had literally transformed himself into a reptile. Now, the Bible suggests that snakes are feared and disliked today because of Satan's alleged transformation. Facts. Back in the Garden of Eden, however, it should be remembered that the biblical Adam and Eve story is entirely symbolic, and the snake too. And was a symbol, not an actual reptile. Exactly. Now, to determine what the biblical snake represented, we must go back once again to older pre-biblical sources. When we do so, we will discover that the snake symbol had two very important meanings in the ancient world. It was associated with the custodial god Ea, reputed creator and benefactor of mankind, and it also represented an influential organization with which Ea was associated. And we'll get into the Brotherhood of the Snake next. That will be a very interesting read. Now let's get to the reptilians and the history of mankind or humankind. The Anunnaki by Henry Crane. That's the right. I know it'd be better if we were writing the books. We have plenty of books out there, guys, but those are too black and too pan what do you call it? Pan-frific. Pan-African. I want to say Pan-African terrific, but Pan-Afrific, some shit. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this one in. Now, I know y'all remember what we were doing here. When we were talking about the draconians and all that stuff, the hybrids, blah, blah, blah. Leave the information, let a group grow after the flood. Now, the first to use this concept were the Asian civilizations in the 700 BC approximately, and it quickly began to be used in Egypt. All right, so we're talking about that negative energy collected from humans and all that kind of stuff. The concept of money. As far as, like with metals and salt and all that kind of crap. Supposedly salt. We didn't use no salt for money. Anyway. It quickly began to be used in Egypt, Acadia, and neighboring towns. Now, the Draconians knew that through this simple concept of money, they could raise on humans the darkest and most twisted side, and that it would help to have them more controlled. That means divided statuses. And so they would be easier to manipulate for squeezing them all of their negative energy. And so was born the most powerful control over humankind, money, monetary methods. At that time, Egypt kept growing by pressing their slaves and strictly following their polytheistic, something like that, religion. Although I don't like a lot of religious words, y'all. Anyway, although human sacrifices of animals were drastically reduced. Now, the Acadians were expanding their empire, fighting all the tribes and towns they found. Although their rivals were less and less, this greatly reduced the negative energy emanated by humankind. Also, they continued worshiping Marduk as their major god. However, this changed, and other gods like Anu and Enlil began to be worshipped more and more. Now, Asians had already created several different civilizations, and they were led by dynasties, always in conflict with each other. The art of war was always a constant among Asians. And in addition to more sacrifice, most of them performed with animals. Now, the Americans had already created 3 large settlements, one located in Peru, one in Central America, and others in North America. Despite having the technology to create large buildings of stone, there had been little progress, and we know that to be a lie. Over time, they had lost much of the knowledge inherited by Inki. Oh, actually, that could be truthful. But Egypt is everywhere, not in some little place in the youngest pyramids on earth. The Americans had already advanced, but still had not managed to create a civilization. And finally, the Europeans, who were further behind humans at that time with the knowledge delivered by Inki, gave a great evolutionary leap. They had already created the most humanist civilization in history, and the Greek civilization as well. Enlil intuited that Inki had something to do with the evolution of the civilization, so he began to follow him more closely. Towards 1200 BC, Enlil discovered now how Inki communicated with humans throughout the phase. This was a unique opportunity for his interest, and so he decided not to tell anything to Anu, and decided to learn how to communicate across the phase. After much practice, Enlil was able to control the phase and tried repeatedly to communicate with a member of his chosen people, all without success. His first contact was established with a man who was the brother of the future pharaoh of Egypt. His name was Moses. And it was so much the manipulation introduced by Enlil that he managed to convince him that he was in fact a Hebrew, and that his mission was to release his chosen people. He took him from Egypt and sent him to Syria, where once it had been the first Anunnaki settlement, and just for him to get one of the tools that were used to create an electromagnetic field and levitate stones, and with that create large buildings. Now, however, Enlil had actually been able to deceive Moshe saying that it was a very powerful weapon that would protect him from his enemies. This trip took Moses quite a while, and at his return to Egypt, his brother was already the Pharaoh. Strictly following the instructions of Enlil, he threatened his brother Ramses, telling him to release the Hebrews. That was how the people faithful to Enlil called themselves otherwise. He would suffer the wrath of their God, and now Ramses obviously ignored the warning of his brother. So Moshe poured into the waters of the Nile River a chemical that had been prepared with his own hands, following the instructions of Enlil. This substance caused all the fish in the river to die instantly, dyeing red the water because the blood of these dead fish. In addition, many amphibians, such as frogs, came out of the river and began to invade the Egyptian crops. A large number of dead fish attracted a large number of flies and insects to Egypt, causing a real plague. This, coupled with a huge hailstorm that coincidentally occurred in the afternoon, caused that many people close to the Pharaoh who had heard the threat of Moses attributed all these phenomena to the wrath of his God. Now Moses, who was already known by almost all Jews, met Ramses again, and once more asked him to release his people, otherwise his God's wrath would fall more forcefully among Egypt. Now Ramses refused outright, so instructed by Enlil. Moses asked all the Hebrews that night to sacrifice a lamb and with its blood to put a visible mark on the doors of their homes, since only those who had that mark would be saved from the wrath of his God. Once the night came, a group chosen by Moshe began to see fireballs of paper wrapped inside the same chemical that he poured into the Nile River, and they started to throw them to all the houses that didn't have the mark of blood, including the house of the Pharaoh. Since the guards did not oppose to Moshe all allowed him to enter out of fear of his God. Now this caused the death of many people. Most of them were children who could not resist the toxic gases of this chemical. And the rumors and the fear quickly spread all over Egypt, and those events were attributed to the God of the Hebrews. Ramses, awash in fear, seeing his son on the edge of death, decided to free the Hebrews and let them go. His plan was to corner them along the Red Sea and show them and mow them down with no mercy there, out of the sight of the Egyptians forever. Now, we'll pick up the Exodus part tomorrow. Now, you know they were going to put this kind of spin on it, but they're co-factoring in what we're talking about as far as Gilgamesh, even what you call it, the Rosetta Stone and all these other things, the Emerald Tablets, all this stuff. Now, could it all be made up so that way as people wake up, it's something to keep us running around? Of course. The thing is to know exactly how important you are and how powerful you are. All this other stuff, if you become the power that you're capable of, you'll remember everything anyway. Behold the Pale Horse, William Cooper. He all up in the window. I got the window mostly down. He got it all cracked. I see you looking at the lizard on the window, bruh. Behold the Pale Horse by Mr. William Cooper. Homeboy, a trip. Could be KB, had me cracking up. Sometimes I'd be like one eye, and then next you know I feel like a paw. And I look over and his nose. And then he give me a lick, like 2 licks. Nigga, you're not getting no soft, man. It's too late. Oh, man, I'm going upstairs. I didn't even know I was crashed out. And he come right upstairs, climb up on the bed, climb down on my feet, look at one of my feet. As long as I ain't swinging it, he ain't tagging it. No, I'm just kidding. He don't tag it. Not like he used to. Well, he used to jump up and grab my feet and bite it. And man, I used to kick his ass to the next room. But yeah, you got the lizards that crawl up. It's real hot and they get on the screen. And they, you know what I'm saying? It drive him loony. Anyway, let's get this in. Another plan is in force. It is the plan to prepare the public for eventual confrontation with an alien race. It could also intend to make you believe in an alien race that may not exist. The public is being bombarded with movies, radio, advertising, and TV programs depicting almost every aspect of the purported true nature of alien presence. That was back in the 90s, or 80s, or whatever. Now we're at the crux of it. This includes the good and the bad. Now look around and pay attention. Someone is planning to make their presence known, and the government is preparing you for it. They do not want any panic. Excuse me. Okay? Excuse me. The unprecedented number of sightings worldwide indicates that public exposure is not far off. Never in history have there been so many incidents involving UFOs, and never in history have there been so many official acknowledgments. For many years, a secret government has been importing drugs and selling them to the people, mainly the poor and minorities. Social welfare programs were put into place to create a dependent, non-working element in our society, and the government then began to remove these programs to force people into a criminal class that did not exist in the 1950s and 60s. I've been telling people this. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. This isn't, and trust me, growing up, we used to always know and hear about little black cars with peckerwoods in them with masks on. You could tell they was peckerwoods, and they were in shape, with dropping boxes and crates off, with guns and ammo. I mean, they were doing it up into the 2010s. I mean, in Detroit, Chicago, and did it in New York and North. I mean, they probably did it everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about the places I know of. People like, yo, cuz, you know, check out what I got. Well, where'd you get that from, son? Nigga, behind cat, you know, box of guns, man. Big box, like wooden, like crate box. Went to the box. You know the homeless, they snatch that stuff and they'd be gone and tin it up. I'm like, what the fuck? But I was never hanging out in no 2-3 o'clock without no purpose. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which will lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves. Oh, wait, okay, excuse me. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which will lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms. You're saying that right now, again. Using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. The CIA inculcated the desire in these people to often fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the, and listen to this shit again. The CIA inculcated the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards, thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. And this plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. No, they're not no more. They weren't then. The numbers are small. This is goddamn Bloomberg's Ashkenazis, motherfuckers. Author's note: I have found that these events have indeed happened all over the country. In every instance that I have investigated, the incident at the women's school in Canada, the shopping center incident in Canada, the Stockton, California massacre, and the murder of Rabbi Mia Kahan, the shooters were all ex-mental patients or were current mental patients who were all on the drug Prozac. This drug, when taken in certain doses, increases the serotonin level in the patient, causing extreme violence. Couple that with, a post-hypnotic, check it out, suggestion or control through an electronic brain implant or microwave or ELF, you know what I'm saying, intrusion, and you get mass murder, ending in every case with the suicide of the perpetrator. Exhume the bodies of the murderers and check for a brain implant. I think you are going to be surprised. In every case, the name of the murderer's doctor or mental treatment facility has been withheld. I believe we will be able to establish intelligent community connections and our connections to known CIA experimental mind control programs when we finally discover who these doctors of death really are. Are we not seeing that right now? And in two cases, I saw the same so-called pale skinned Spanish brood take down the female shooter, and then this other one not that long ago. Same young cat, same haircut. I'm sitting there going, that's like the freaking goofy mayor of over there with the fires in Hawaii. He was up the same one in Las Vegas. These are all their little monkeys, y'all. And why is it that people don't see these things? I don't know. And y'all know it's only, not to hype y'all, it's only going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, you going to trim your mustache. I was like, what the fuck, bro? I'm going to let it grow all the way over so when I eat something, I get all this hair in my mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, who all came in? Hey, Mikey Hill, what's going on, beloved? Herbo, got you, Ganji. You already know I got you, beloved. George Richard, third. What's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? 6 bucks. What's going on, beloved? T. Hines, Humble the French. What's going on, beloveds? What's happening, brothers? I hope y'all enjoyed that read. I was meaning like this live, Brad Wolf. I came straight over after you. Oh, dude. Oh, it wasn't showing? Are you serious? It wasn't sit there upcoming? This thing is crazy trying to hide, man. I guess maybe some fake ass rabbi, because I read the history, sitting there going, we're going to show that you ain't shutting shit down, you monkey. Hey, but Gerald, yeah, I got you. I got y'all, beloved. Motherfuckers ain't, man, it's well to be in the street saying it. I say it over here, and ain't nobody doing a damn thing about it. Older guys from the neighborhood came across a few of those. See, that's what I'm talking about, Mikey Hill. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else heard anything or seen about it? Alabama and the Chris Knot fighting 8 tank. Since you both Blackland or Shiloh, what's up? What's up? Some of the original Confederates. You know what I'm saying? I know none of these fake ass Peckerwoods that got off the boat, orphan bait, Cabbage Patch Kids, and got off the boat in the 1890s and not up to the 1940s. I always see 1920s and 40s. That's when the majority was really coming here. But a lot of them came here and after the so-called fake Civil War, and they came in here with murder in their hearts, like they did over there. Came over here thinking they're going to do the same thing, but we fought back, and you just don't hear a lot of that. I'm going to get a book. I'm looking for this book, More Donations, but I ain't looking for it because I know it might be expensive. I know there's one out there. I'm gonna look for it because I got a little paperback stuff alluding to different times white supremacists came and the brothers pushed them back with violence, never parallel. I'm talking about they don't want you to know your history about fighting back and everything. You know, they don't tell you the truth about the National Guard during Vietnam, or during the Black Panther. That stuff. They don't tell you the truth. Before that, 1950s or something like that, Korean War, whatever, World War II and Korean War. When brothers was whooping their ass, and people still, some people know it, and they live on that ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and chill out. It's getting dark, and it's just not even 7 o'clock. And y'all know it was getting dark at 9 not too long ago. So it's September, and so I'm gonna turn the lights on and get everything set up. It was a good read. I meant to come on a little earlier, but sometimes I get enveloped when I'm reading. You know what I'm saying? So I have no tea really. Well, I always got tea, but I don't want to say nothing right now. I want y'all to meditate on some of the stuff that I read today. We're gonna pick it up tomorrow, and I'm gonna get into the discovery, the story of the second bird Antarctic expedition. I want the first notes. I think there's a PDF. I don't really want to download it. You know what I'm saying? What was that? Happened to me too. They was hiding alive. Wow, that's weak, right? But so I've read quite a bit now already. I'm doing my best not to mess it up, but you know me. I ain't doing the wet thumb thing, but I'm pretty much jumping around in here. Man, I know the gist because I know it's a true story. But it amazes me at these people who go out here, and I was looking at the references of sources that were utilized, and a lot of this supposedly being of the story of the crews and everything else, the captains and all that kind of stuff. Because remember, he was an admiral. The advanced base tractor party, the advanced base caravan. This is in the so-called Antarctic. It's damn sure not no island. It's a ring around us. And the only people that do this right here, there's something seriously ill with them. Even if I created them, I'd be like, okay, it's time to destroy them all and start over. I'm just saying. I know what I said about realms and all that. That's something for you to look into. But they're not doing this on their own. And we've lost the contingency because we've lost all our weapons and technology. And what do the custodians do in every reading I've done? They assimilate and utilize all the stuff that we created on different continents, right? And then what do they do with that stuff? They add it to their foray. There's no fair fight, people. And right now, people are so friggin' divided. And I know some of you watching who don't ever say nothing, you're probably sitting there going, but you say stuff, I don't say nothing. I say pale skin, and sometimes I say peckerwood, because that means you're just ignorant as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And brothers and sisters, the same with them, the Negroes. Some of them just so damn ignorant. And you know, and I'm not saying it to make you more, you know, offended. You don't have to defend nothing. It's my opinion. That's all it is. But I'm right. So we got to keep pushing until people start getting it, like, not just particulars of thinking they know, but actually know things. That's all I've been attempting to do. I haven't really been hitting no shock and awe. Please, trust me. It's just people need to know. You dig what I mean? And sadly, the majority aren't going to really give a fuck because they're stuck in the now. You know what I mean? So anyway, I appreciate y'all coming in. I think I'm going to eat some ice cream. You know, the straw watermelon fruit pop. And I don't want to eat it before it gets too late. That sugar is rough, bro. And I might cut me up a couple slices of watermelon. But see y'all in the AM. Because I'm going to sit back, get back to reading, and probably doze off right here until I get ready to go up to the bed. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all coming. Who is that? I got a package coming. This nigga drunk. And some of these UPS drivers, I know them. They be drunk than a motherfucker. But anyway. You know, come and try that in a smaller town. See how, you know, they do it all the time. Love sisters and my brothers. 2 to 1. I'm going to catch y'all in a little bit, all right? Appreciate y'all.